Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Monday, April 11th, 2022. Sit down. Really, we got something profound today, and it's not going to surprise you, but well, hold that thought. Okay, something happened today out of the European Central Bank that I think really flew under the radar for the most part. It did spook the market though, and we need to talk about that. Actually, a couple of things spooked the market today. But to me, the most profound statement you can imagine literally came out of the European Central Bank today. But I'm not going to tell you about that just yet. I want to cover the market first. So yes, the market did fall under pressure today. The NASDAQ falling the hardest here. Okay, 10-year yield, $2.77, slightly higher here. Cryptocurrencies getting a hit. Gold and silver catching a bid. Crude oil still around $95 a barrel. Okay, now that I laid out that for you, let's cover this. This is the European Central Bank. And listen to this and tell me if this sounds familiar to you. So, ECB, preparing for a possible blowout, their words, blowout in bond yields, and they are looking for ways to backstop it. What are they talking about? People, this is the exact scenario that I've been outlining for everybody for years. Eventually, we are going to get an implosion in the debt market. It's going to rock the financial world to its freaking core. We're going to get a blowout, well, this is ECB, in the debt market, and rates are going to spike in an uncontrolled fashion. It's going to melt down the entire financial system. People, I don't think most of you, well, I don't know if that's actually true, but a lot of you don't understand the ramifications of this. When this occurs, and don't listen to me, listen to the European Central Bank, who is now preparing for this possibility of a sell-off, a massive uncontrolled sell-off in the debt market, a spiking in bond yields, which will melt down the stock market. This also means we're going to get a credit freeze. And I've been warning about this for years. What is a credit freeze? Transactions stop. You try to take cash out of the bank, it's not there. You try to go to an ATM, take out cash, you can't do it. You can't go to the store and use your debit card, just gone. Nothing works anymore. Credit cards all over. This was the big issue during the meltdown of '08. Everyone thinks it was about the stock market meltdown to Dow 6,000, when the Fed stepped in here with QE1. No, that wasn't it. They had to free up the credit markets, and that's why we got those capital injections out of the Federal Reserve. If they did not do that, it was literally over. Like I just said, no cash anywhere. Anyway, so this is a profound statement, undoubtedly spooked the market. There's also a couple of other things that spooked the market today. And let me cover this just a little bit. There is the threat, again, of a Russian debt default, especially off of Standard & Poor's now downgrading Russian debt. All right. Now, a lot of you today, believe me, I check my email and I look at the comments, are concerned about this. Here's my take on this situation here. I think it's highly likely that we're going to see a Russian debt default. Do I believe that is the moment that's going to take down the financial markets? No. Do you know why? Because we know it's there. We can point at it and we can see it coming. Again, this is not a black swan. And people are writing to me, Greg, this is the black swan. It is not the black swan. The black swan will be an unforeseen event. How many times if you've been with me any length of time, you have heard me explain to you that if you can see it, if you could point your finger at it, it's not the black swan. Now, I am not saying here that there is not the possibility of a ripple effect. Absolutely, there is the possibility of a ripple effect. But what are we going to do? What are you and I going to do? We're going to be watching the 10-year freaking yield. You understand? Right now, the debt market is not sending any kind of a bad signal at us in the immediate future, although the ECB seems convinced that something is going to happen at one point. Now, they're not saying when. They are preparing for it. And we are preparing for it. What are you and I doing? You and I do realize that at one point there's going to be a blowout, using the ECB's name here, their wording for a debt market implosion. Yeah, it's going to happen. But you and I have been positioning ourselves for this for a very, very long time, betting against the debt, becoming our own central bank. Forget about what they're doing to cryptocurrencies right now. Got hit pretty hard, cryptos today. Again, you know my scenario. Okay, let's use their words yet again. A blowout in the debt market is going to destroy the stock markets around the world, and cash is just going to move, people. It's going to move into commodities and, in my view, into cryptocurrencies, and their market cap is going to go up multiple fold. That's the scenario I have outlined for all of you for a very, very long time. And in my view, yet again, that is the most likely thing to occur. You understand? All right. So we got the call from the ECB, which spooked the market. We got this Russian possible default that spooked the market. And we got something else too. Now listen to this. Actually, two more things. But this is from the White House. All right, look, I want you to look up everything that I say. I don't place links to this stuff. But if you want to read more about it, just Google it or whatever search engine you might use. So the White House is admitting, are you ready? Look, it's too incredible. Remember, our economy is booming and we're really strong and people are doing great and they're all rich. Well, right out of the White House, they're admitting that it expects inflation to remain extremely elevated. Extremely elevated. Okay, how about a duh? I think that, yeah, a duh is definitely indicated here. Come on. So here we have an admission out of the White House, totally contradicting what the Federal Reserve narrative has been, which is this is all transitory and just magically going to go away. When is the White House going to hold the Federal Reserve to account? How about never? No, because we have a brain-dead president and everybody else. And it wouldn't matter who was sitting behind the Resolute desk. They wouldn't do it either. This is the shit show, people, that we have. It's epic and it's out of freaking control. Now, on the economic front, I have a couple of things more I want to talk to you about. On the economic front, what did we find out recently? What have we been hearing here? People continue to borrow beyond their eyeballs. They're struggling to make ends meet. Well, this is a lovely piece of economic news. We also found out that people are tapping into whatever savings that they have to try to, again, make ends meet because they're so rich and our economy is so strong and it's great. Ex-President Bidenstein, he'll tell you. Anyway, so this is the news. People are struggling to keep minimum balances in their checking accounts. And what banks are doing here is they are charging, obviously, overdraft fees and other fees associated with people who are not keeping a minimum balance. So they're getting hit from every single freaking angle here. But we're doing so well. You know that. How do you know that? Well, because all of our politicians keep saying it. The Federal Reserve keep telling us how great we're doing. Speaking about the Fed, here we heard from this freak today. This is Federal Reserve President Charles Evans, who's another creature, another yet to be defined entity. I don't know what these things are, but they are not human. All right, are you ready? This is what he had to say. Number one, are you ready? I had to put this in bold. He does not foresee a recession. No, he doesn't see it. Okay. He went on to say, are you ready? Sit down. You might want to get a few prepared. High prices will persist longer than he thought that they would. Bullshit. He knew this right from the get-go. And do you know how you know that's true? Because you and I knew it. Right from day one, I was like, this is crap. It's not going to be transitory. This is going to continue and it's going to go on for as far as I can see. So this very nice thing, whatever it is lying yet again that inflation, high prices will persist longer than he thought. However, this is the best part. However, high prices are not persistent. Let's redefine that. These are quotes He says, high prices will persist longer than I thought. However, high prices are not persistent. This is a guy, a Fed president. What do you think the punishment should be for these things, okay, that are running the entire world right now? The lies, the deceptions, the distractions, the misinformation, the continued lies, they won't stop. Meanwhile, they're put out here as authority figures on what's going on around us. And, we're all slaves to these things. We're slaves to these things. I'll tell you, people, it's out of control. I'm starting to freaking sweat. So, people, look, in summary here, before I do actually blow a freaking gasket, several things spooked this market today, like I said. And to me, the most profound statement that we have heard as of late is this one right here, right out of the European Central Bank, preparing for a possible blowout in bond yields. You and I clearly understand that this is going to happen. We are going to get a debt market meltdown, implosion, however you want, whatever word you want to put in there. They're calling it a blowout. I'm calling it a meltdown or an implosion. And the ramifications of this are almost too dire to contemplate, because this is not just a financial issue. This is going to be a resource problem on a biblical scale. And people are going to die by the tens of millions. There's going to be pandemonium around the world. Truly, that is how this is going to unfold. And you can only imagine what they are going to do, those that are running everything, the control mechanisms, the stealing away of liberties and freedoms. It's all coming. It's all coming. So do what the ECB is saying to do. Prepare, because they are preparing for this blowout and they are looking for ways to stop it. Look what I wrote. See those lines here? Cannot be done. It can't be done. Once we get an implosion in the debt market, okay, and debt starts to sell off rapidly, central banks at that point, what are they going to do? They're going to go in here and buy it all. Think of what that will do. The ramifications of that are a currency that will go to zero. And you want to talk about hyperinflation? We're talking about beyond hyperinflation. Can't be done. Cannot be done, people. I'm telling you right now. So, look, as I always have told you since I don't know how many years now, always have the high ground. Be prepared for a worst case scenario all the time. All the time. Anyway, so that's the story. You know exactly what happened to this market today, why it fell under pressure today. And if you think about it, despite the fact that we got, this call from the ECB, the fear of the Russian debt default here, this abysmal economic news about American citizens who are, they can't even keep minimum balances in their savings account. The banks are hitting them with fees because they can't keep minimum balances because we're so rich, because we are doing so well. So there's three things right now that the market had a reason to sell off here. The market obviously expecting a terrible inflation report tomorrow, and this thing from the White House. I mean, they're telling us right here, inflation to remain extremely elevated. When is the Federal Reserve going to be held to account for the lies that they have told to the world? Do you think it's ever going to happen? Really? All right, look, I got to end this video because I'm going to blow a gasket. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to have a blowout. All right, look, I'm out here. Love you a lot. Please share the video. Please share this video. And I want to hear from you. What do you think about the stuff I talked about in this particular video? And out of what I just discussed, what are you mostly concerned about? Let's cover that just for a second here. Are you mostly concerned about the European Central Bank preparing for a possible blowout in the debt market, the Russian debt default, people who can't keep minimum balances, maybe that's some of you, and I feel terrible about this, in their accounts, the fact here that the White House is now saying they're expecting inflation to remain extremely elevated. Now pick one. What are you most concerned about? I want to hear from you. I really do. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see all of you in the morning. Take it easy.